Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will journey through 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. The Mysterious Island, written by Jules Verne and first published in 1874, is an adventurous tale of survival, ingenuity, and mystery. The story is set during the American Civil War and follows 5 men and a dog who escape their captivity in a Confederate prison using a hot air balloon. They are stranded on a remote and uncharted island in the Pacific Ocean, where they must rely on their collective knowledge and resourcefulness to survive. Over time, they uncover the island's hidden secrets, making this novel not just an adventure, but also a puzzle full of surprises. Plot summary: a violent storm raged over the Pacific in the late days of March 1865. Caught in this tempest was a hot air balloon carrying 5 passengers: Cyrus Smith, an engineer, his servant, Neb, a sailor named Pencroff, young Herbert Brown, and a journalist, Gideon Spilett. Alongside them was a loyal dog, Top. The storm battered the balloon relentlessly, forcing them to throw everything overboard to stay aloft. But their efforts proved futile, and the balloon plummeted toward an unknown island. The 5 men survived the crash landing, albeit scattered along the shores of this mysterious, uncharted island. They regrouped, but their leader, Cyrus Smith, was nowhere to be found. Desperate to find him, the group scoured the coastline, eventually finding him unconscious but alive, thanks to the faithful Top who had pulled his master from the water. With Cyrus recovered, they set out to explore their new environment. The island was both a blessing and a curse. It offered an abundance of natural resources, wildlife for food, timber for shelter, but also posed dangers with its rugged terrain and strange occurrences. The men named it Lincoln Island, and together they began the arduous task of building a new life. Cyrus, using his scientific knowledge, led the group in creating basic necessities from scratch: a kiln for pottery, a forge, and a loom. They also discovered caves in a granite plateau, which they named Granite House, and made it their home. As the weeks turned into months, the men tamed their surroundings, cultivating crops and domesticating animals. However, they were not alone. Strange phenomena began to occur. Items would appear mysteriously: tools, supplies, and even food, seemingly out of nowhere. Their lives were saved on multiple occasions by this unseen benefactor. A message in a bottle washed ashore one day, revealing the presence of a castaway on a distant isle. Despite their own precarious situation, they built a boat and sailed to rescue the man. They found a shipwreck survivor, Ayrton, who had once been a villainous mutineer but had since repented. With Ayrton's help, the settlers continued to prosper on Lincoln Island. Yet, the mystery deepened. There were no footprints or signs of anyone else on the island, and they had no way of explaining the strange interventions that saved them time and again. As they worked to unravel the secrets of their surroundings, they also had to contend with external threats. Pirates arrived on the island, posing a grave danger. A vicious battle ensued, and just as the situation seemed hopeless, the pirates were mysteriously defeated. Their ship was destroyed, and the crew was found dead or incapacitated, further adding to the puzzle. The answer to these mysteries came in the form of an astonishing revelation. The island harbored a secret resident, Captain Nemo, the enigmatic commander of the Nautilus from Verne's earlier tale, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The submarine had been hidden in a cavern beneath the island for years, and Nemo, now an old and dying man, had been living in isolation. It was he who had been watching over the settlers, intervening silently from the shadows to ensure their survival. His vast knowledge and technology had provided the means for their prosperity, and he revealed that he had chosen Lincoln Island as his final resting place. Before his death, Captain Nemo told his story to the settlers, explaining his desire for peace and seclusion after years of wandering the oceans in rebellion against oppressive governments. He died peacefully and was buried in the depths of the sea, entombed within his beloved Nautilus. With Nemo's passing, the settlers turned their focus to the future. Their peaceful existence, however, was not to last. The island itself harbored a dormant volcano, which had begun to awaken. Earthquakes shook the land, and volcanic eruptions became increasingly frequent. The settlers realized that their island was doomed. They could do nothing but prepare for the inevitable. In the final throes of destruction, Lincoln Island was consumed by the volcanic eruption, sinking into the sea. The settlers, now without a home, were adrift on the ocean, clinging to a small boat. It seemed as though all hope was lost, but fate intervened once again. A ship, the Duncan, appeared on the horizon, having come to search for Ayrton after his long absence. The settlers were rescued and brought back to civilization. Though they had lost their island home, they carried with them the invaluable lessons learned during their time on Lincoln Island. Lessons of perseverance, ingenuity, and the triumph of human spirit over adversity. United by their shared ordeal and the memory of Captain Nemo's quiet heroism, they returned to the world not as victims, but as conquerors of the challenges they had faced. That's a wrap for today, but there's more to explore in Captain Nemo series by Jules Verne. Check the description or Celsius 233 to keep the adventure going. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Jules Verne's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.